Welcome, everyone. Today, we're going to focus on how we can properly use AI to help teach speaking skills. So, this deals with language learning, right? What are the different ways that AI can be used to really enhance the teaching and learning process, dealing with our ability to speak a different language or even to improve our current capabilities with the language? So we're going to be looking at different aspects of this. So the idea here is using AI tools to help students with their practice, to practice their speaking, to expose students to multiple vocabulary, to help students as far as their emotional connection with the learning. So that deals with personalization. And then also to really think about what we can do to really enhance the class, to make it more motivational, to make it more interesting for the students. So we're going to be using AI for all of that. The first tool that I really want to highlight is this one called ELSA. This is a great tool to help someone learn. And the big thing here is that it presents different ways that you can go and do that through daily practice, through improvement of pronunciation, or to simply study by topic. So you can see here there's many different categories of what I can go in and learn as far as things associated with that language. In improving your pronunciation, it'll present you with a sentence. It'll say it to you,
I'll send you a confirmation notice.
and then you have to say it back. I'll send you a confirmation notice. So it's understanding what you're saying and then giving you a rating as far as how well you pronounced it. So this will definitely highlight how well you're doing. The real power here is that you can make it talk slower so that you can understand it.
I'll send you a confirmation notice.
You can have it give it a definition. You can share this information as far as how you did with your instructor or all sorts of different things. So there's many ways of using this within the classroom, and it presents you with an overall rating, which again, you can share. This is a great tool. It's limited as far as the free aspects. Then you have to pay. There's different pricing schemes that are available for it. But what's really powerful with this app is that it also gives you some additional things for free. One is this dictionary. The dictionary is really powerful because you can go in and type in the word that you want an explanation on, or you can just speak it in there and then it'll recognize it and tell you. So in this case, I put in this word Thanksgiving. It gives me a definition. It'll pronounce it slower. And then what's really cool is I can click this, watch people pronounce this. And when I click on that, it actually shows me someone using it in a sentence in regular speech. So this is a TEDx example, and someone simply says it within their talking.
When we think about the situation with Grandpa at Thanksgiving,
The other powerful part of this application is that it can give you an assessment. So you go in, go through this process of the assessment, and it gives you an overall score of your pronunciation, your fluency, your intonation. So that's really powerful because it helps you to see where you're at. And then you can retake that test later on to see your improvement. And once again, you can share how you did with an instructor. So this would be something that could be periodically used within your course. That's just one tool. There are many other AI specific apps that can be used for language learning, for practicing, for going through and helping with pronunciation. So these are some additional tools, additional apps that could be tried. Hume is another great AI that is very new. It's still somewhat experimental, but definitely go through and check that out because it offers a real powerful way to interact with the AI and to give you a really emotional connection because it has an emotional voice and it can understand your emotion as well. So using an AI app like that is great because it's designed specifically for language learning. But we can still use other tools like ChatGPT or Bing or Claude or even Gemini. We can use it in our favor to help when we're trying to help students learn the language. One way is to simply go into ChatGPT and ask it to write you a story. Write a story that I'm going to share with my students, and they'll have to read it to get exposure to vocabulary. They'll have to go through and understand those words, but now they're being exposed to those words through a story. And the real powerful thing that we have now by using AI like ChatGPT is that we can personalize the story. So that means that That story could be about our school. That story could have characters in it that are the students. I could make some of the students be in it. I could make some local characters, right? Maybe we have a mascot and the mascot is a character in here. It could be about something that recently happened locally or nationally, internationally. We could make a story about that. Why would we want to do that? Well, now the story is that much more engaging because it's something that's more connected with the students themselves, right? By going through and doing this, the story becomes more interesting, the story becomes more motivational, the students want to read it, it becomes that much more engaging. So really consider using that by having this AI personalize the content overall. So I went in and I had it create a story, and then I went in and I said, okay, I want you to rewrite this story, but be sure to include these terms because this is the vocabulary that I'm having my students learn this week. So I want these terms, this vocabulary within my story. And the AI can definitely do that. It'll implement it and put that within the story. So now there's your story. Even if that story isn't a 100% solution, it's still going to be a 75, 85, 90% solution when you go through and evaluate it and then edit it up, add some things, modify some things, but it's going to be so much quicker and easier because now you have it. And this could be done as a class thing. This could be done individual groups, all sorts of different possibilities. And you can easily reiterate, make new stories, make additional stories, have stories about certain groups, have stories about different things, all sorts of possibilities that can, again, be done very quickly with the power of AI to make it motivational and to make it personalized. So now I have that story and we can definitely use it. It's very powerful. It is a text format, which is great because now they're reading it. They would have to do certain things with it. I could have them highlight words and put in definitions or have to explain the story to the front of the class or how they modified the story, all sorts of different possibilities. That's one modality. Another modality is I can now take that actual story that I came up with, take that and feed it into an AI like a podcast AI. I'm thinking about Notebook LM here. I could give it my story and say, okay, make me a podcast about this. And remember, now that we can customize the podcast, I can say, hey, make sure that you're using terminology that will be usable for someone at this level of speaking, high schooler or university student, or this level of fluency. So I can modify that for the podcast. But now that's a very new, interesting perspective where they're getting a story, but through the format of a podcast. So here's an example of that.
Using this fun little source, the cheeseburger challenge, it's set in this classic American diner, but honestly, the lessons apply anywhere.
Okay, so set the scene for us. What's happening in this cheeseburger challenge?
So picture this. You've got this professor, Professor Anders. He takes his students to this like super authentic diner, Joe's Diner.
Joe's Dinner, love it.
Right. Like you can practically smell the burgers, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And each student, they have to order, it's kind of like a little test, a communication challenge.
I like that. So it's not just about the food. It's about, like, how to get what you want right.
Exactly. And what's cool is the author isn't giving you a list of phrases. It's like you're right there with them.
Ah, okay. Like we're eavesdropping on the orders.
Exactly. So you pick up on, like, the tone and how people ask for things.
Love that. Okay, who's up first in this cheeseburger gauntlet?
Professor Anders, he leads by example, right?
Of course. Got to set a good example for the students.
Right.
Now, I hope you noticed that in that example, I had a visual there to help you with understanding the story, right? To add to the overall story by having a visual. So that's another way that we can also use the AI to help students learn the language by having them go through and create images on their own. So that could be an assignment, an assessment in different ways, either formative or summative, where we tell the students, okay, using these vocabulary words, have that be part of your prompt and create an image. Or we could simply say, I want you to create an image that would help to describe this event. Or make an image using your vocabulary words to go along with the story. Lots of different possibilities there. They go in, now they have to format a prompt. This is also helping them with their AI literacy because they're interacting with the AI, they're developing prompt engineering skills. Now they're using those vocab words within the prompt and creating an image. taking it a step further, now they could also present to the class and say, here's my image. This is the prompt that I used. This is why I put it together. This is the meaning behind it. And again, now we're having them express themselves, vocalize, describe things. Lots of different implementations for this. Again, a very powerful way that we could use AI for language learning. There's many different tools that can be used for developing images, such as using Microsoft or PixArt or Gemini. Lots of different tools out there, Midjourney, depending on the level of their capabilities with creating it. Many different simple tools that can be used to help generate really cool artwork from AI. So going text to image is one implementation, one visual aspect, but you could also do this with video. Now there's several different video creation tools out there where you can go from text to video. So that would be another recommendation where now the student has to create a text prompt using the vocabulary words to create some cool different visualization in a video format. So that's another possibility to help them gain exposure to those vocabulary words, the language, the description, but in the creation of a cool video to again show and describe to the class as well. So we just talked about using it to create really cool text. We just talked about using AI to create cool images and using AI to create videos, as well as audio, right, with the podcast. But now we can go even further because students can now use the AI and use their vocabulary words, prompt engineering once again, to create music. So there's several different AI tools out there. The one I like to use is Udio. You go in there and your students can sign up and get free credits, and they can create a nice prompt using vocabulary words to create music. That's yet another interesting motivational type of interaction to create something, to actually develop something based off of their tools, their words, their vocabulary, to create something really powerful. And they would have to be able to evaluate, to listen to it, to think, does this make sense? Does this address what the instructor was asking me for to create that deals with this topic? Lots of different possibilities and implementations here. Here's an example of one.
Knowledge flows into the night. Literacy song never fades away. In English we'll dance, come what may. Word by word, expand your scope. Education lies the way forward. With each phrase, ignite that hope. The power of words, we can't ignore it.
All right, so now we've used AI in many different ways, many different tools to create all sorts of visuals and audio, specific apps to actually work through and practice. But there's even more. Here's an interesting way that we could use AI to help us in really understanding the language and practicing the language. There's a cool game here, completely free. It's called Taboo AI. The idea with this game is that I can put in certain topics and then it will give me words that I have to try to describe to the AI. The way that Taboo works is that I have to describe the word, but I can't use these other words that would be commonly used to describe it. So now I have to really think, how can I describe this word in order for the AI to guess it, to win the game? And that's what I'm trying to do. So your evaluation comes with how long did it take you to get the AI to finally understand the word. It's a fun little game, completely free, but really helps students to learn the language, the description, the way that we can go in and describe certain things. All right, so there's one more special way that I want to show you how you can use AI to really maximize language learning, to really help students be able to speak and practice and go through this. So I'm going to be using ChatGPT. I'm going to be using it on a phone. And the big thing here is I'm using the app. I'm using the app that's in here so that I can really dynamically interact with the AI. So this is going to be a conversation, and notice the prompt that I use to be able to maximize this simulation, this interaction with the AI itself. Hello, ChatGPT, are you there?
Loud and clear. How can I help you today?
Great. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to go through a simulation. I really need to practice my terms and the way that I speak. I really need to practice that in the realm of food service. So I'd like you to assume the role of a patron, a customer coming into a restaurant, and I'll pretend to be the waiter.
Sounds like a great plan. Let's get started. I'll be the customer. You can begin by greeting me as I walk into your restaurant.
Hello, welcome. Thank you so much for coming in. Please have a seat right here. The menu is on the table, and here's some complimentary bread and some complimentary water.
Thank you. The place looks lovely. What do you recommend for a first time visitor?
Oh, I would definitely have to recommend our house special, which is a special seared fish with lemon. This is special fish that comes to us from Alaska. It's salmon, and it's presented on some charred asparagus with a side of wild rice.
That sounds delicious. I'll go with the house special. Could I also get a glass of white wine to go with that?
Yes, I'll definitely bring that to you straight away.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, can you please give me some feedback? Please tell me how the session went, as well as my pronunciation of these English words, and if there's anything I can do to improve.
You did a fantastic job. Your greeting was warm and welcoming, and you described the dish in an appetizing way. Your pronunciation was clear and easy to understand. One small tip: when describing the wine, you could suggest a specific type, like a Chardonnay or Sauvignon Blanc, to show your expertise. Otherwise, well done. How did you feel doing it?
I felt pretty good. What would you say is my level of expertise in using the English language?
Based on that interaction, I'd say your English is at a very proficient level. You communicated clearly and confidently with good vocabulary and natural phrasing. Keep practicing, and you'll only get better. How do you feel about your English skills?
I feel very good. Thank you very much for your help today. Okay, so that was just one interesting and powerful way that I could interact with the AI with the advanced voice mode of ChatGPT. Now, I'm just using the free version. So with the free version, you get a limited amount of access. So you have to think that as far as when you're going to have your students use that as a tool. The paid version, you get more access to it. Hopefully, we'll all get more free access to it once the new version of their model comes out. So only time will tell. So that's a limited tool, but again, it's really powerful because the way that this is working is that it's not interpreting my voice as far as going from voice to text and then understanding. No, with the new ChatGPT voice mode, what it's actually doing is understanding my actual voice. That's why it's able to understand my voice directly. So it can do things like say, oh yeah, your pronunciation was good, or no, your pronunciation needs to be adjusted a little bit, work on the S or the T. So it has that capability now because it's using an actual advanced AI voice mode as opposed to just translation into text. So that's a really powerful tool that you can use in many different ways. Now, even after you run out of time with the advanced voice mode, it'll still revert back to regular voice. So you won't be able to affect the enhancement of pronunciation, but at the very least, this could still function as a great tool to help students practice, to go through simulations, different scenarios where they'll at least get practice in going through and expressing themselves. Again, the big thing here is that this is a tool. This is something that should be used in conjunction with other things. Like this could be a great practice tool, and then you do other things within the classroom. Now the student actually has to present, or now they work with a buddy, or they do different sessions with you or an aide or anything like that. The combination of all of these tools together in different ways, that's what really enhances learning because now we're making it that much more engaging, that much more interesting and motivational. So by putting this all together, now we can really enhance the overall educational experience for everyone involved. I hope you like these tools and you see how this can really enhance learning, not just for language learning, but for many different things as well. The big thing is that we have to make sure that everyone starts to develop this type of AI literacy and understanding how this can really help with the overall process. So please share this out with your other academic friends, with other people in the other faculty, so that they can learn and they can develop. Because by developing our own AI literacy as faculty, then we can help to develop the AI literacy of our students as well. All right, thank you very much, everyone. Please like, share, subscribe, so that we can continue to grow and continue to help all of academia. And remember, learning is for life.